40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
It is a foggy day, to say the least here, but we are at one of the Turn 200 favorites. It is round 9 of the third season of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. We are here above the 2.7-mile, 15-turn Interlagos, host to the Formula One Brazilian Grand Prix, and it plays host to the JSelmants Art Grand Prix of Brazil here this evening for the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. Welcome back to Turn 200's coverage of FSS. My name is Tommy Cook. We got Jeff Mathis back in the booth once again here this evening. Hopefully you enjoyed the off-week partner. Interlagos, it's a favorite of mine. I don't know how the field feels about it. How does Jeff Mathis feel about it?
Thank you, Tommy. It's lovely to be back after that week off. Yes, this is a particularly challenging track. Somewhat high altitude, nothing too crazy, but it is a very fast track with 2 slow corners. So the 2 slow corners are definitely significantly harder because of how fast the track is everywhere else. It gets it kind of in your mind that you should be going fast, and then all of a sudden you got to deal with first gear. Other than that, it's a pretty pleasant day if you're a duck. Well, most days are pleasant if you're a duck. We have looks like a 4% chance for rain in the sprint race, so Nate Seifker will be very happy about that. Currently, it appears we have one Brazilian on the front row and the other one not far behind.
A few Brazilians who will scatter through the field here this evening. No doubt they'll all want to be at the front of it. I can tell you this much. We've got 2 Brazilians who are on top of the point standings right now. João de Gregorio I mean, we are hot swapping the points lead here over the last 3 weeks. Huge, massive point swings, talking 10 points, 20 points, 30 points even. And now it is your Season 1 champion on the heels of his first Grand Prix victory since Season 1. Back atop the point standings by only 10 markers. You would think DiGregorio and Spencer will have the home field advantage here this evening. But I don't think anything is a certainty here with this track, and especially as fine of margins as we have, even back to Titus Sherlock in 29 points. That is way too close for comfort if you're any of the drivers fighting for this championship.
Very much so, and we've seen big swings, as you mentioned, in the last couple races. Joao, everything went good for him that could have at Jerez, was able to get his feature win there. Whereas Titus, Jerez was a dumpster fire. He really did not have anything positive happen there. So he needs to capitalize on tonight, and I think Joao and Tiago will be particularly with the bit in their mouth today. I think they're going to be trying very hard.
And, your championship 3 provisionally right now in the front 3 grid positions, Joao with the pole, Sherlock on the outside pole, and Spencer lining up behind his fellow countryman and teammate there in the 3rd position. Again, as we still got some drivers out on track trying to make some laps. On the 40 Racewear Top AM side of things, Cody Claiborne with a monster week a couple weeks ago at Jerez. The overall 4th place finish, that is the best ever Top AM finishing position. Led laps, was in contention for the podium there, and that opens up that gap big time to Sarah Guerra there in the 2nd position in the standings, and a tie between Goyette, who is on a good tear as well, up to 3rd in the standings, now tied with Zachary Smith with 41 markers behind your current 40 Racewear Top AM points contender. As we'll cut now to maybe some folks that are out on track. I think everybody has basically wrapped up their timed laps, and just a few drivers still feeling out the track conditions here, and feeling out this track as well. One driver that has been in a couple of races at Interlagos here on the channel before, that is your 40 Racewear AM points leader, Cody Claiborne. As you can see, overcast is an understatement. 84 degrees Fahrenheit, the track temperature. As it said on one of the signs up on the scenic cam, Sao Paulo is a city like none other. And this is a circuit like none other. I'm excited to get it back on the channel. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. And nobody out on track. Only one driver would have an opportunity to post a lap, but they don't have enough time to make it back around. That would be Griffin Yellen. So 2 drivers looking like not going to set qualifying times. That would be Peter Donchak and Sebastian Gianni. I'm not even sure if Gianni is in the session anymore. Likewise for Peter Donchak. But we got 25 drivers who have turned in a time. 2 of those drivers will be making their series debut here this evening. Not often that you get this deep into a season and we're having new drivers joining us on the grid. They're both in the pro driver division. That would be Kyle Mundell, who currently is 25th out of the 25 starters. But one driver that looking to be at the front of this field, he was 5th in practice. He is 5th on the starting grid. Ethan Stanley, who is a name I'm not familiar with, but it sounded like you had a little bit of insight on driver 91.
Yes, Ethan was part of Formula Racing Series' sports car series that sadly met its early demise. But he was running in the GTP category, and he actually was the championship winner of the first season of FES. And very often, even when he wasn't winning, he was very often up there bothering everybody. So I think he's going to be, based on what I saw from a GT3 standpoint, I think he's going to be a real contender and really could shake some things up with our established group of drivers.
Let's take a look at this track map one more time. Well, we got about a minute left to go here. You talk about the varying corners here. A couple of very slow turns, especially in the middle there. It kind of looks like, I don't know if that looks more like a bird beak or a wrench, what have you, but that middle sector there, if you are not on it, it's easy to miss one apex, and if you're missing one apex, you're probably going to be missing multiple there.
Yes, it's a particularly challenging, especially on paper it looks quite challenging, but once you get on track, it actually has quite a bit of elevation change. I don't know specifically, but this track does have quite a large amount of elevation change, and that just makes it even harder to keep the rear tires in check over a lap here. Specifically, the both hairpins have big hills leading into them. The first hairpin a downhill, the second one an uphill, and so what works in one does not work in the other, and you have to spend a lot of time to truly get the most out of both of them because they're very different.
It's got a great flow once you figure it out. But that's the thing is good luck of figuring it out. Even the best struggle here, especially if it's going to be wet. No matter what the forecast says, it looks like it could open up at any moment. We'll see if the skies change here as we get ready to switch over to our sprint race. First action of the night and in the penultimate round of the championship here this season. It is at Interlagos. It is the JSelmants Grand Prix of Brazil. The sprint race is on the starting grid, and it is João de Gregorio, the home driver, leading the field of green with Titus Sherlock to his outside. Thiago Spencer, Felipe Silva on row number 2. Those two are Brazilians as well there on the second row. Ethan Stanley, Tanner DeFabis on row 3. Kostik Sawovier and Kevin Bonomi on row 4. Byron Daly and Nate Siefker round out your top 10 starters. It's Michael Costello and Jeff Groff on row 6. Brian Labarge and Jeremy Carter on row 7. Kyle Allen, Sam McDougall there on the outside of row number 8. Sarah Guerra is Tristan Moss, Christian Jasper, Zach Flau. Round out your top 20 starters. Matt Schlosser, Griffin Yellen, Nick Goyette, Cody Claiborne way back there in the 24th position. Kyle Mundell, the final driver to turn in a time. And it looks like Peter Donchek is on the grid here. He'll start in 27th. Sebastian Gianni, as of now, is not.
No rain out, but it is about 6 degrees cooler on the track, so it'll be a different track than what they saw in qualifying.
Here are the drivers. Line it up. Waiting on Kostik Sawovier and Kevin Bonomi. The drivers that make up row number 4. Also waiting on Griffin Yellen and Cody Claiborne.
A handful of drivers will have some pit starts, so some of those could be due to that.
Certainly is likely after an interesting week a couple weeks ago at Jerez. So we wait the time to run out here. We got about 20 more seconds before we are ready to go racing into the Senna S. There is João de Gregorio, Titus Sherlock, and Thiago Spencer. The top 3 in the standings, the top 3 on the grid, and a fellow Brazilian, Felipe Silva, on the outside of row number 2. The lights are coming on. And the sprint is underway at Interlagos.
Ooh, poor start by Sherlock.
The dash to the Senna S. De Gregorio has the whole shot side by side for second. Nearly contact there, and there is contact between Sherlock and Silva as they jockey for position. Silva will come out with the bronze as they head now towards Descida do Lago. Oh, and big wadding up behind. Multiple drivers off. That is Nate Siefker, who was one of them. Michael Costello is off as well.
Labarge is slow out of turn 4. Don't know if his car is in good condition. It seems to be okay.
Here is the eye on your leaders. De Gregorio leading Spencer. They've gotten away very cleanly. Sherlock has had to scrap hard, but he is up to 3rd. Felipe Silva and now Ethan Stanley round out the top 5.
Couple little incidents, but currently nobody has towed or even has a meatball yet.
That is certainly good. We'll take a look at the Siefker Costello incident. A little bit of argy-bargy elsewhere in the field. If we could pick up on it, we will let you know. Sarah Guerra has just passed Kevin Bonomi for the 15th position, as there is Tanner DeFabis around. Oh, and another one follows him in. That is Byron Daly. They both pile in. And Jin Sao there, turn number 12. And another one around there as well.
Okay, Siefker, yep, that was Siefker as well. DeFabis, he's definitely not in a great position points-wise, but his championship is, in theory, still quite alive, so he needs to bounce back from this as soon as he can.
Jeff Groff sneaks into the 6th position into the Senna S, taking that spot over from Jeremy Carter as they head down Areta Apasta to Descida do Lago, wheel to wheel. Sawovier and Carter for spot number 7. Carter trying to hang on. Sawovier trying to take it over, as they truly are wheel to wheel there with Sam McDougall eager to get through, maybe a bit too eager, chomping at the bit, and he is around over the curbing and into the grass in at turn number 7.
Oh, and it's just horrible. You just have to sit there and just wait for everybody to get around you.
That's the nice way to do it. Unfortunately, it's the costly way as well. Let's jump back quickly to see the contact potentially between Siefker and Costello. Two Eclipse cars side by side. There's Costello and Siefker reacting to the Ethan Stanley car there in the middle of the track. I'm assuming Costello was thinking that Siefker was going to go take the normal line into the corner, but that is exactly where Stanley's car was holed up there. Now we head up the field to Tanner DeFabis. And I think the rear end of this car is just going to come out. Oh, and actually it's an overcorrection and a tank swap there as Byron Daly follows him. And we'll quickly jump back here to Thiago Spencer. He's 1.3 seconds behind his teammate, Joao de Gregorio. And Spencer way off into the runoff there, and that is going to bring Titus Sherlock ever closer now, inside of 0.4 of a second, up to Thiago Spencer in the quest for second.
And I have lost all contact with Nate Siefker. He did pit at the end of that first lap, but then he did continue, and I cannot see him after that.
We'll go researching and see if we can figure out what has happened there.
I have found him. He's coming back down through the Cineas again, so
okay.
He's still alive.
Saw some tire smoke there from Brian Labarge and Christian Jasper as they battle here for 13th. And Sarah Gator has had an issue as well. We'll check in on Sarah here momentarily. Peter Donchek has had an issue as well. And currently, it's a 1.5 advantage for Joao de Gregorio at the front of the field at the track that he is so desperately wanted to perform well at, or really just perform at all. Here in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series, Joao looking for a already series record, but would just be the cherry on top, 10th career sprint victory. As Titus Sherlock took a little pump fake there into Descida del Lago, and it got Thiago Spencer a bit out of shape.
Further back, we got Labarge getting past. Oh, looks like some light contact between Labarge and Goyette. Both cars are continuing. Yeah, that was quite close down the straightaway.
That's in Descida del Lago again, and Reda Pasta as well. I'm getting to practice my Portuguese live on air.
Doing a phenomenal job so far. Guerra's quick spin. You're definitely going to be able to continue after that.
Yeah. And an issue
Mundell,
for Kyle Mundell as well, yes.
Absolutely feet away. Knocked the front wing off the car, but potentially still able to continue. Just had to wait for another car to pass there before making his way back on track.
And there's another car around. It's Tanner DeFabis for a second time. Here inside of 10 minutes to go, DeFabis, it was on the very outskirts of the points hunt. This is going to do some serious damage in his already long shot chances to vault himself into the championship conversation.
Yeah, that is not what he needed at all.
No. Kostik Sawovier around the outside of Jeff Groff there into the Senna S to take 6th position away. We'll go with the Jeff Mathis roll bar cam here, watching Titus Sherlock continue to try and prod at Thiago Spencer to get up to P2. But he's falling back to half a second.
As a part of doing the live broadcast, I cannot see this, but I thank you very much for doing this.
I get what you mean about the roll bar cam. I do like taking the cockpit cam every now and again just to see who isn't pulling their tear-offs. And that way I can take note of who the real sickos are out there.
Oh, in FRS, there's just too many to even... A witch hunt would leave us with what grid?
Yeah, I don't think much, unfortunately. Pull your tear-offs, folks. They don't cost any money since we're on the sim.
And even in real life, they're cheaper than a race car.
That is also true. Here's Joao de Gregorio into the Senna S. 2.2 seconds back to the battle for second. Spencer and Sherlock still going at it. Felipe Silva in 4th. Ethan Stanley in 5th. Oh, and by the way, Joao de Gregorio, $10 American richer, courtesy of Jeff Mathis. Congrats on the quick time.
Been so great to help the economy of Brazil this season.
Top AM, as it stands, I believe right now, is Kyle Allen in the 12th position.
I would agree with that. For transparency, Tommy Software doesn't show him the AM Pro categorization, so he's good
Yep.
guy, smart guy, so he's pretty good at it. But every
Trying.
now and then he kind of, if you have, especially with the new drivers, it's a little woo, who's where.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you this much. Spencer and Sherlock, both of them seem to be struggling with the handle of this car. We talk about these tires not loving lateral loading. And whether you're in the fast corners here or the slow corners, it's inescapable. You are putting a serious beating on these tires.
Yeah, especially with the relatively low temperature and the amount of humidity in the air, it's hard to make these tires really get into their window. And Joao's definitely having a good time of doing that. He did have the fastest 5-lap average up until just a second ago, with Kostek having it. So I think Kostek is the only other person. Only 3 drivers so far have a 5-lap average in the 17s. That's Joao, Kostek, and Kevin Bonomi, who's currently running 10th. So that could put him in a very good way at the invert.
Oh, problems for Cody Claiborne, your AM points leader. He's around. He's running in the 22nd position. He's got some cushion, but, you know, you want to keep the cushion. You don't want to have to use it if you don't have to. So we'll see what the next 6 minutes look like for Cody Claiborne in his quest to move up the starting grid for the feature coming up. And
I believe we'll be coming to the white flag here.
Oh, I'm still showing 6 minutes left.
Oh, 6. Oh, Lord.
We could take
It
a
would be
really
very
slow
nice.
lap.
That would be impressive to be able to do. We would need a lot of rain to make that happen. So with 6 minutes in mind, Kyle Mundell, after losing his front...
No, Thiago Spencer with contact from Titus Sherlock, and that car is totaled. You saw the dive there. Titus Sherlock made around the outside, which put him into the inside for turn number 2. And those two came together. And we'll look for a chase cam. Sorry to cut you off there. That happened so suddenly, though. That was quite surprising, to say the least.
Oh, that's very important to note, and I think that's going to have a pretty... Even just with him, as we see Daly and Yellen are trying to have a pretty good little race here. That's going to have some pretty big championship implications. Their friends over in IndyCar like to call out anytime anything happens.
Yeah. Trying to get a better look at this incident here. You can see
multiple places around the circuit right now. We have Eclipse drivers passing to non-Eclipse cars, so that's just something of note.
I mean, Sherlock into the speed trap with a great run there, and yeah, those two just come together. So Titus currently running in P2, and that has widened the gap, as you would expect, up to Joao de Gregorio. 3.3 seconds currently. Felipe Silva now onto the podium. Ethan Stanley in 4th with Kostek Sawovier still running some pretty sporty laps. We'll see if he can make a bid here for 4th by the time it's all over. Tristan Moss and Jeremy Carter duking it out here for 7th. One of those Eclipse battles. Into the Cita del Lago. And that is Moss locking up and spinning. So Moss now will drop from battling for 7th down to the 12th position. Right now, the driver that is looking to move to the front of this field in a couple laps' time ahead of tonight's feature race is currently your top AM, Kyle Allen, in the 10th position. But he has got Michael Costello closing in on him quickly. Costello, I would imagine, is probably not super happy about having to work for the pole. But he is working for it nonetheless. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, purple laps all up and down the charts. It was Joao, and then it was Titus, and now it is Ethan Stanley, all on this lap. 1:16.38 for Stanley.
And while it wasn't this lap, last lap I believe Kostek had a 16.7, so a lot of drivers going very fast right now. These tires are really coming in pretty strongly.
Ethan Stanley tracking down Felipe Silva for a spot on the podium.
Stanley currently on the push to pass, and Silva is not.
So the only retiree from this race so far is Thiago Spencer. This has got to be a massive disappointment for him.
Definitely the ability to bounce back. He's very fast, but that is going to put him in a very rough spot as Stanley's now under, I believe, 10 seconds on the push to pass, so he'll be running out here at the end of the straightaway. There is a drop week in the championship, so this may not be the end of Spencer's hopes.
Michael Costello just made a pass for what will be the feature pole. It puts Kyle Allen back to 11th. Here is Carter and Bonomi into the Senna S. Risky business there, but through Curva de Sol, Carter hangs on for now. Bonomi's all over him.
McDougall and DeFabers are going side by side into turn 1. McDougall's able to easily clear him.
In contact, Bonomi goes spinning. Turned in on Carter there from the looks of it. Let's try and get a better look at it here. But that is Bonomi now plummeting outside of the top 10. And now that will put Tristan Moss on the feature pole, rather. So we'll take a look at it here.
Man, does nobody want to be on feature pole?
I don't think so.
It sure doesn't seem like anybody does.
Now, that did look like Bonomi turned in a lot more than Carter turned out.
I'm sure race control is going to be very exciting prior to the season finale here. I'm very much looking forward to that, I should say.
3.5 second lead for João de Gregorio at the front of this field on the final lap. Purple lap to Felipe Silva last time around. He's put some distance back to Ethan Stanley, so he should have the bronze here if he could just hold it together for another circuit. And maybe it'll be Silva's internet that needs to hold it together. I'm showing him blinking quite a bit here on the final lap of the sprint.
Yeah, his quality has dropped down a lot, and we do have the iRacing mechanical black flag in place, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too deeply.
He's been gone for about half a lap now, so that's I think that's a jinx on my part.
Yeah, I show him with a mechanical black flag as well. So that may be it may be coming back here. We'll see how that goes.
To the checkers, it is a record-setting 10th sprint victory in the GoSquadra from the Super Series at his home track. João de Gregorio takes the sprint at Interlagos. Titus Sherlock in second. Ethan Stanley, in his first appearance here with FSS, will take home the bronze. And it will be the top AM to the pole for the feature. Finally, decisively, Kyle Allen finishes 10th.
That was a pretty impressive feature race there, Tommy. I think we're going to be in for a very exciting feature race. I think I said feature previously. Good sprint race. We're going to be in for a very exciting feature race, especially looking at these 10-lap averages as they just finished up the session. Caustic, I believe, was the fastest car on track there at the end, so I think we're going to be in for a really promising race.
And if nothing else, we're going to have an exciting dash into the Senna S, as we always do here at Interlagos. It's going to be a fun one for sure. On the other side of the break, we'll hope to talk to João de Gregorio, but we will step aside here after the sprint and give our sponsors a shout-out and give them the time that they deserve here. This is the GoSquadra Formula Super Series on Turn 200 from Interlagos. Back in a couple minutes.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Turn 200's coverage of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series is presented by 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel, designed for sim racing by sim racers. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. And by GoSquadra. GoSquadra's mission is to enhance race team management across all sim racing platforms. Coming soon to GoSquadra.com. Back to the live coverage here at Interlagos, and it's been looking like it's been raining this whole time. But the news of the day now, and you may have caught it right before we went to the break, it is raining, finally. And some interesting findings here as we take a look at the weather bug. First of all, the track temperature cooler than the ambient temperature, but we've got our very own meteorologist, Jeff Mathis, on the case. Since we don't have the capability to pull up the iRacing radar on this stream, you're going to have to paint us a pretty picture radio style.
Well, it's a big band of light blue. It's not raining very heavily. It's just, I would say it's a driving sprinkle. It looks like it's going to be increasing for the next couple minutes, but then falling off probably right before the start of the race. So I don't think, I'm seeing a little bit of spray off the cars. I don't know that it's going to really be enough to declare the session wet. I don't believe I see them yet. If the session is declared wet, that makes a lot of changes as far as tires go. So that could play into a big favor, but I think we're going to be seeing some slicks as long as we don't get any more rain. If we get more rain, this could turn into a boat race very quickly.
Now, I will say we are riding the right front cam all through the field. Everybody that I've clicked on so far is on the wet tire, but that could just be to feel things out. I don't know if that's truly an indicator. I mean, looking at the track surface from the right front cam, you can tell it is damp. The water is not pooling anywhere. Which it certainly, if anybody caught the real-life Formula One Brazilian Grand Prix here last year, this track has no problem pooling water. I mean, it is Interlagos. It is the racetrack between the lakes for a reason. It can become a lake here very quickly, but that's not quite what we're seeing, even though we are having pretty much every driver out on track on the wet tire right now.
Yeah, notable drop in pace, as one would expect. The rain tires, while they are softer than the slicks, they also, because of the amount of friction they create and everything, they typically are a fair amount slower in a straight line. So the fastest lap time so far is a 22.2 by Stanley. That should be worrying for a lot of people, because if Stanley's quick in the rain, he could be something exciting to watch in the first couple laps.
I think these first couple laps are going to be quite exciting as we're riding here with Titus Sherlock. Kick of the spray, a little bit of rooster tailing there. Nothing crazy, though. Certainly nothing like we were dealing with at Spa this weekend in the Belgian Grand Prix in Formula One. That shouldn't affect visibility all that much, but it'll certainly play into the mental game of things. With 30 seconds to go, would love to see some folks in the chat. Drop us a chat. Let us know you're hanging out with us and who you're rooting for as well. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. We got one more week of GoSquadra Formula Super Series action here on Turn 200 in our final year of full-time broadcasting. It'll be next week from another personal favorite of mine, Suzuka. A track that's held a championship race before in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. It's going to do it again in a 60-minute endurance, 60 minutes with an asterisk right now, endurance format next week. Excited for the final race of the season. From the usual 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time next Monday night. Warm-up is over, and we are ready to go racing here. With the top 10 invert from the sprint race, it should put Kyle Allen on the pole. And it will. Tristan Moss to his outside. Zach Flauman, Michael Costello on row 2. Jeremy Carter, Jeff Groff on row 3. Kostik Solovier and Ethan Stanley there on row 4. And then your top 10 finishers rounded out by your top 2 finishers. It is Titus Sherlock and Joan de Gregorio. Jasper Bonomi, Daly, DeFabis, Yellen, Schlosser, McDougall, Labarge, Goyette, and Claiborne. The 2 top AM contenders there in the point standings, rather, on row number 10. There's the rest of the starting grid. We'll see who stays and who goes and who is headed into the Senna S.
Very notable. I'm seeing a big mix of slicks and dry tires. It looks like Joao is on slicks as well, as is Kostek, Jeremy Carter, Tristan Moss. Allen is on rain tires.
Very interesting mix indeed, all up and down the grid. Who knows what we're about to see here into the Senna S. The first 2 turns going to be electric, as is the rest of the 40 minutes. We're underway. Oh, sluggish start there.
We
That is
may
Tristan
be doing
Moss. Kicking up spray, headed into the Senna S. Wheel to wheel as Kyle Allen leads him down a pasta.
multiple cars in back.
Titus
Sherlock is out.
Sherlock
And
with
DeFabis.
big damage in Tanner DeFabis. That will be the nail in the coffin for his championship hopes. As this is Joao de Gregorio and Tristan Moss here battling for 6th. Michael Costello will surge to the lead now, headed into Ferradura. Ethan Stanley to 2nd. Kyle Allen, the pole sitter, back to 3rd. Jeff Groff and Jeremy Carter. They're rounding out the top 5 as Carter going for a slide in Ferradura. Carter now will drop from 5th down to outside of the top 10. There is Thiago Spencer from the back row of the grid up to 11th and continuing to go as they are all spinning in the slow corners here.
Looks like Kostek is one of them that was... watching Titus slowly drive around. Kostek was one of those. He was one of the fastest drivers, so him getting spun there is definitely a problematic.
There is Tristan Moss around in Hunsal. As 3 wide, headed into the pit straight and nearly contact. Joao is off into the grass and still is a foot flat to the floor. Say that 5 times fast. Nate Siefker holding them all at bay. This is Thiago Spencer. He started 26th, and this is a pass for 7th on the 2nd lap.
Wow.
Contact
That
with
is
Joao
impressive.
and Kevin Bonomi. Yeah, you talk about motivated after the sprint race got away from him there. Up to 7th with authority, and now looking for one more to the inside of Matt Schlosser into Deseda Delago and has the spot. What a start. Michael Costello the leader. There's Felipe Silva and Joao de Gregorio. De Gregorio struggling here. Slipping back to 9th, and it's not going to get any easier for him. I mean, this is pretty much everybody back to 13th. All right there, including Byron Daly, who just went for a little slide. Kostik Solovier with a slide as well. There is Peter Donchak, and he has shed just about every corner of that car.
Yellen just has a very gentle spin.
And problems for Jeremy Carter as well. This field has been ravaged in the first 2 laps here. Only 3 minutes into this one, Michael Costello leading Ethan Stanley by only a couple of car lengths through the Senna S. Wild start. We'll try and piece some things together and get a couple of replays going if things settle down on track. That's no guarantee. as Costello slipping and sliding a bit there through Ferradura. Thiago Spencer up to 5th. Nate Siefker tagging closely behind there in 6th. Just around the gearbox cam of Michael Costello, you can see that's not engine smoke. That is the spray from the track. And around Subida dos Boxes, turn number 14. He has pulled again. Nearly doubles the advantage. As problems for Di Gregorio, he's around in Curva do Sol, or rather in Hunsao, and another car around behind him. That's Tristan Moss. But Di Gregorio is going to try and bring it back onto the straight, the short chute between 12 and 13. I don't know if he can. He is really having a hard time here getting this car back on track, and that might be the end of the race for your points leader. An absolute disaster for the sprint winner.
Guerra also is pulling into the pits with a car that's crabbing. Flaum was involved in a similar... I don't think he was involved in the same incident, but it's similar geographically.
I wonder if Joie got stuck in the wet grass on the slick tire.
If you get the car high-centered on the edge of the track, that can put you in a real bad spot.
And certainly that is easy to do there. I mean, this is basically a ditch between turns 12 and 13. Oh, and there's contact there. That might have sheared the left rear or certainly broke the toe on that car. Oh, yeah, and that is indeed what has happened. It had nothing to do with the slick tires. That left rear is basically a dead appendage at that point. So that is certainly Di Gregorio's race over, and that is going to put him in a world of hurt headed into next week if Thiago Spencer can maintain this incredible run that he's on. This is a pass for 4th. I mean, I don't know if we've ever had a more remarkable single lap in this channel's history than what Thiago Spencer just pulled off in the wet there on the start. 26th inside of the top 10 in one lap.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to watch after later on, because that is truly a phenomenal lap to have done. To be battling for a podium position, let alone within just laps.
We'll bail out of this if we need to, but this is Thiago Spencer's start. I mean, that's already 2, 4, 6, 8 drivers by the time he gets to the quote-unquote speed trap here on the opening lap. And there's chaos and carnage in front of him. That certainly helps pick up the positions. Drivers slowing down for that helps. But I think he's up 14 maybe already. Now he's made it up to the drivers who tried to brave it on slicks early. And you can see, I mean, they are just absolutely piled in behind the drivers on wets and the drivers trying to make it on slicks. There's 2 cars spinning. There's the 3rd car spinning. And he's already into the top 10 by this point. There's another car around.
Definitely driving with a bit between his teeth, no question. It's impressive to see what he can do.
That's not just impressive, that is staggering. And he finds himself pretty much in the middle of 4 wide here. Fighter jet formation headed into the speed trap in the wet after completing one of the best laps we've ever seen here, bar none, on turn 200. But the work is not over yet. He rides in 4th. Felipe Silva in the 666 right now in P6.
Ooh, Siefker and Solovier just got into each other.
Oh, and Siefker is buried there in the tires. So that is his race done. So we'll go now and see what we can see with Solovier. And that Siefker missing the apex there. Pushing a little bit wide. into the inside of Descida del Lago, and with no front end of the car, drifts it out to the outside of the track. Here's a good battle. It's for 5th now. Silva trying to take this spot away from Kyle Allen, still in the top end position. Not really under threat for those honors right now. Silva up into the top 5. Allen back to 6th. Bonomi right there in 7th to try and pounce. As Ethan Stanley just went off the track, gave up a handful of time both to Costello in the lead and to the driver giving chase to him, Jeff Groff, in the 3rd position right now. Groff 3.5 seconds clear of Thiago Spencer. We'll jump back to Bonomi and Kyle Allen battling for 6th. Here's a dive. Bonomi. He will put the squeeze on Allen there and complete the pass. There's Siefker in the chat. And early pit stops here, I'd say it's crossover time. Costello and Stanley. 10 minutes almost exactly off the board.
Sorry for the absence I've been dealing with. There's a potential issue with calling the start of the race. There may have been a call for this being a wet race, along with the tire rules that then change with a wet race. So it is my best belief, with the way everything has been presented to the drivers so far, that there is not that you have to take a second set of tires. I don't think there's going to be a lap consideration at this point. Uncertain. It's going to take a little bit to figure it all out.
Certainly a rough day to be a league admin and a race steward, that is for sure. Godspeed to all involved.
Oh, I feel bad for them, I'll tell you that.
I'm just happy to be sitting here watching. So that will put Costello and Stanley out 7th and 8th. They've got Matt Schlosser a ways up the road, or rather Kyle Allen a little bit closer. But Jeff Groff is now the race leader. It's a good day whenever we get to call out Jeff Groff's name. Thiago Spencer is in now from the 2nd position. So Costello and Stanley go by Spencer as he pulls away out of his box. I mean, you talk about a race falling into Spencer's lap after it was taken away from him earlier in the sprint. I mean, problems for De Gregorio and for Titus Sherlock. They're both out. Sherlock didn't even make it 2 turns before he was retired from this race. And now Spencer in a great position here to try and put the hurt on his fellow countryman and teammate. Headed into what will be the final round next week at Suzuka. Here's Schlosser and Bonomi. The battle for what is currently 2nd. As this is your provisional race leader, Michael Costello, trying to get through on Kyle Allen to move back into the 4th spot. And nearly contact there. That was very, very close. Costello lucky to escape. But he has the spot, and he's got separation about 1.2 seconds back to Ethan Stanley. But traffic not done yet for Costello. Bonomi and Schlosser to work through here momentarily. Jeff Groff 14 seconds ahead of Costello, so he's got a great gap back. As Bonomi comes down pit road, he'll bring Kyle Allen in with him. Still light spray being kicked up here as Costello across the pit exit line there. And aggressive cut up to the nose wing of Matt Schlosser, but he will take the second overall position back. Let's jump back to Christian Jasper trying to make a move on Felipe Silva for 7th. Or rather, I think maybe this is Silva taking that position away as he is starting to charge away from driver 444. It's 444 versus 666. And a 999 and a 222 in that mix as well. Gotta love it.
It's amazing for how many triples we have. I think they're all within the
7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Here's Jeff Groff from the lead. It won't be long until Michael Costello, headed into the speed trap in the Senna S, will reclaim the lead with Ethan Stanley 2.2 seconds behind him. I actually think Costello sent it a little bit long there into turn number 1, and Stanley was able to make up about 4/10 just in that turn alone after Costello turned the purple lap. We'll jump back to Jeff Groff as he comes out right next to Felipe Silva. And that will be a good battle, no doubt. And Kostik Sawovier with early problems as well. He is now back on the charge, up to 8th. And looking to get through Jeff Groff, who is not quite up to temperature yet, and that is a easy move there for Sawovier. Kostik up to P7. Thiago Spencer through on Matt Schlosser, so move Thiago up to 3rd. 8.5 seconds behind Michael Costello. It sounds like a lot. We'll keep watching the lap times to see if maybe that is something that Thiago Spencer can overcome here. But still, I mean, over half this race left to go. Purple lap for Ethan Stanley, 1995. And now Thiago Spencer in 1980. I won 1980, that is, but I just like, you know, anybody out there from 1980? Shout out.
I'm just glad you're able to get some representation.
Shout out to Windows 95. Lots of purple and green laps up on the board right now. Everybody starting to like the way this track is shaping up here. Especially Stanley and Spencer there in 2nd and 3rd. Back to Felipe Silva. Schlosser struggling a bit still. And Sawovier makes a dive to the inside of Schlosser and to Silva. He'll get one, but not the other. So Kostik to P6, and he is chomping at the bit here to move into the top 5. 15 seconds to the lead might be a bit much for Kostik, but there is no doubt he could still very well be on for a podium here if he keeps up the pace that he had earlier in the sprint. He was lights out. But you talk about pace, oh boy, Ethan Stanley at 1:18.47. This track is ramping up quickly.
Yeah, Ethan's pretty strong in these mixed conditions. Costello, we know, is quite strong in these conditions, so I think it'll be good to watch them battle together.
Kevin Bonomi, a 1:18.09. Hot dog. That is almost half a second quicker than what Stanley and Spencer just turned in. Everybody except for Matt Schlosser just turned their personal best lap of the race thus far. Stanley only a 1.5 seconds behind Costello now. He is putting in good work. 1:17:37 for Ethan Stanley. Another 2/10 out of Costello's lead inside of a second and a half. Kostek Soloviev 1:17:32. And again, everybody is green, including this time Matt Schlosser. Everybody's green except for Soloviev, who just went purple, and now he's got Silva within half a second. Kyle Allen's still the top am, but maybe not for long. Cody Claiborne has him to 2 car lengths in closing. And now battles for both class leads as Ethan Stanley has caught Michael Costello to a second. 1:16:38, 0.6 of a second faster than Michael Costello, the race leader. Stanley's absolutely rolling right now. Oh, an issue for Matt Schlosser, as it looks like he's crashed on his way into pit road.
A very tricky pit entry. I saw them practicing both after qualifying and during the warm-up, and it's a very fast pit entry with a big uphill right before you actually get to pit lane itself, and it can be rather tricky.
He was trying to fly it on there and hit the pit attenuator, and that just basically sheared the whole right side of the car off. So hopefully, we'll pass along an update if we get one, but certainly it's not looking good for Matt Schlosser. So he's headed to a local care facility.
Oh, that's a pretty darn big impact. Although I think he luckily knocking the sides off reduced a lot of the energy to the inner structure.
Yeah, we could only hope. Byron Daly down pit road. Here's a fun factoid for you. As I'm putting together the Turn 200 all-time stat book, Matt Schlosser, the driver with the most starts, despite not coming into Turn 200 until halfway through our full-time broadcasting run. Maybe just a tick before the halfway mark. But the most starts on the channel. And he's top 10 in pretty much every stat category as well. The driver that's made the most starts to the driver that's making their first on the channel with the series, Ethan Stanley, half a second away from Michael Costello. It's Kevin Bonomi, the first driver to go sub 1:17. Big lap times here, 1:16:38 to 1:16:15 for Ethan Stanley. That must not count for the purple lap. Maybe Stanley had an off track or something, but that is the fastest lap that's been turned this race. But it's not purple for some reason. Don't know why. But anyway, I don't think he cares about that. I think he'd rather have the race lead. That's just a guess, though.
I think the only thing he's really concerned about is that attenuator a couple car lengths in front of him. He sees that rear wing and he knows that's all he's really worried about. Fast laps they're cool, but the other end of that car is a little more interesting.
He's needed fast laps to get himself back into this position. It was a big gap after the pit stop sequence. Costello and Stanley both peeling off right as regulations would allow. As soon as they did, they both came down together. Stanley's had to scratch and claw his way back into this position now. 2 car lengths And this time it is purple for Stanley. 1:16.14, mega lap. Battle for the top AM is heating up once again. We'll jump back quickly. Cody Claiborne back in pursuit of Kyle Allen. Claiborne flaring out to the right side into the left-hander in turn 1. Trying to find his way underneath for 2 and 3 in the Senna S. He'll have a good run down Retta Pasta here. And an opportunity into the City del Lago to take over the advantage. Meanwhile, problems. Costello is off. And that will give Ethan Stanley the race lead now. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Costello is back up and rolling.
Having seen a couple races by Stanley and FES, this is a very dangerous position to put him in.
Claiborne is now into 9th. That gives him the lead for the 4D race where it's Hop Am. What happened to Michael Costello? Pressure was being applied. And onto the curbing there, and that car just stepped out. Maybe the curbing's still a little bit too wet there. But either way, that cost him the race lead. No damage. But now he is 4 seconds behind Ethan Stanley at the front of the field. Hello in the chat to Uthman Badmus. I don't have the ability to comment, actually, which is weird.
I believe I
this server.
do. I'll get Uthman taken care of here.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. The bad news is we only have one race after tonight.
But there are more races in the
yes.
Formula Racing Series schedule.
Yes, there are. There's plenty more racing action, just not in this particular car after next week for, I'm assuming, a while. But still plenty to do in FRS as a whole. .7 seconds, Ethan Stanley. He's walking away. Michael Costello. Thiago Spencer in third now is inside of 2 seconds up to Costello. And Spencer's got to be loving this after an absolutely unbelievable opening lap to move from 26th to, I believe, 7th. Up to third and now closing in on Costello as he continues to give up time. Kostik Suave is down pit road from 5th. Very interesting.
I believe he was on. I think he started on slick tires, so he may be fulfilling his tire requirements.
Okay.
Even in rain conditions, we do require the use of 2 sets of sticker tires. Whatever compound is up to you.
That was Costello going wide into City del Lago, and now Spencer is right here. Defensive line here through the middle sector for Costello, really catfishing the insides of these turns to not leave any daylight for Thiago Spencer. 14 of our 26 starters are still out on the track. You talk about laps of attrition. Lap 1 will go down in the books for sure as one of the wilder ones we've had here in the series and the channel.
I'd love to bring up a quick point. I'd hate to do it while I see Spencer and Costello are having a phenomenal little battle here. But I just want to bring up, there was an issue at the start of the race with Zach not having his headset working correctly, and he didn't know that it was working incorrectly. As Costello went a little wide and Spencer's got a good run. I don't think it's going to turn into anything. Nope, he smartly decides not to dive there. So because of that, some of the drivers were thinking this was going to be a safety car start. Some of them didn't. That was part of what led into all of that. For any of the drivers watching, we will have a resolution for the feature race this week sometime.
So good to know things are in the pipeline. Is Ethan Stanley, and he is wrecked. Stanley missing the front wing and the left front tire, and all of a sudden this scrap between Costello and Spencer is for the race lead, as Stanley is going to have to retire that car.
Well, I'm sure that'll get Tiago's attention very, very specifically.
We'll take a look at that here in a moment, but now this is Tiago Spencer looking for the move for the race lead into the Senna S with 10 minutes to go. Costello wiggling under braking. Spencer, tried and true here, trying to find his way through, but Costello manages to hang on for now. Down Retta Pasta, headed to the city of the Lago. Costello able to pull away just a little bit, just enough rather, from Tiago Spencer to hang on to this lead for a few more corners. What happened to Ethan Stanley from the race lead? It was all done and dusted, and the same curb that caught out Michael Costello. The big difference is that Stanley not able to check it up in time, whereas Costello didn't take any damage. Stanley's race is over.
It's the rough thing of switching from wet to dry conditions. The curbs, though everything's the same, relative same level of wetness, but as they dry out, the curbs have these little pockets of water in them that don't dry out anywhere near as fast. And because nobody wants to use them, they take a long time to dry out. So the track can be beautifully ready to go, and then all of a sudden you touch a curb and it just spins you like a top.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen rumble strips close up on a circuit before. It's easy to see why they retain their moisture so well and why it's so hard to get them cleaned out, and why they stay so slick. Tiago Spencer is right here. He just cannot find a way through. Cody Claiborne still leading the AM division in the 8th overall position. Kyle Allen riding in 9th. Nick Goyette in 12th. Those are the last AM standing. Spencer had a look there to the inside. Costello shuts the door. Headed to Hunsao now. Costello, not a great apex, and Spencer might have an opportunity to capitalize here. As they round turns 13 and 14 back to the pit straight, Spencer already weaving, looking for a way through.
Unlike last time, both are on push to pass, so Spencer goes to the outside.
Wheel to wheel, we've seen this outside move work. Not going to work for Spencer this time, although he gets great drive out of 2. Headed to Aposta now. And they're wheel to wheel again, headed to the city of the Lago. Spencer looking for the advantage, turns in, runs it way wide into the runoff through the grass, and he's going to pick up the lead with a bold and daring move in what has been a bold and daring feature race. Tiago Spencer is back to the lead. Unbelievable. Here's Costello, massive dive. Unreal that he made that work and kept it out of Spencer. Heads up defensive driving there from Spencer. And it's Costello now back to the lead. What a battle. I'm sure Tiago will not be having any of that, and he's going to have another go here as he got another great exit there out of turn number 12. We go again. Swinging it to the outside, headed to the center S. Front wing to front wing. No decided advantage there. Oh, and there's contact that time. Costello sneaks through. Spencer loses time. But did he lose any bodywork here? Tire looks okay on the front camera here, but it's hard to tell the internal mechanisms on the front end of this car.
I'm able to take a quick look, and it looks like Spencer's got a straight steering wheel, so I think it's game on.
Okay, and it certainly is. He's right back to a car length. You talk about driving with the bit between your teeth. To start this race, that's the second time he's been impacted by an Eclipse driver into turn number 1, battling for position at the front of the field. And he is not going to take kindly to it, and he is not done yet. Costello at his wit's end here, trying to find any way to slow the advance of Tiago Spencer. Back to turn number 1. Oh, and this time Spencer with a dive. Costello leaves the door open, smoking the tires. Oh, and they're gone. They're both out. Felipe Silva will sneak through to the lead as Spencer and Costello have finished each other off. Oh, goodness.
Holy, Groff is second.
Jeff Groff is second. Michael Costello is trying to get a roll, and that's not going anywhere. There's Kevin Bonomi now onto the podium. Oh, it was such a great battle, and that is not a good way to end it. Let's back this up. This is now a 7.5 second lead for Felipe Silva. You're not missing anything at the front of this field. I mean, look at the dive there. We'll try and take a little bit better of a look at that. The crossover, smoking the tires, no contact. And, I mean, Costello turned in on him. Ay, ay, ay. That's no bueno. Well, that really does put us in an interesting spot for next week. I have no idea what the hell the points are going to look like after this one. But what I do know is that Felipe Silva all of a sudden is en route to what could very well be his first career GoSquadra Formula Super Series victory. Byron Daly going to have a go here for the podium. This is for third with Kevin Bonomi in the position at the moment.
I think as it stands right now, Spencer would be leading the championship by a handful of points, as Sherlock and DiGregorio both finished sub 20th. It's going to be very interesting. This week is going to be a very busy week for race control and the admin team in general.
Again, I just happen to be up here.
Oh, this is going to be more. I'll take a rep over this. This is going to be exciting. We'll hopefully come to a good conclusion that everybody's relatively happy with.
Yep. Good luck trying to please everybody.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Bonomi able to open this gap up by just a few car lengths here. Felipe Silva will have 2 laps to go at the stripe. Cody Claiborne and Kyle Allen drawing near, half a second apart for the top AM honors of the day. keep an eye at the front of the field, but this is our closest battle for position on track, and it has some points implications here. Claiborne banging it off the curbing there, and a little bit loosey-goosey for Kyle Allen as well, right when he got in the wake. White flag for Felipe Silva for a maiden victory in FSS. Go off to the inside of lap traffic there. Bonomi in third, 1 second clear of Byron Daly. Claiborne trying to keep distance between he and Allen. We'll jump back there when needed, but we're just a couple corners away from Felipe Silva taking the victory here at Interlagos, driving under the Brazilian flag. Silva is through turn 14 and headed to the checkered flag. It is Felipe Silva's first career GoSquadra Formula Super Series victory, and he's done it here at Interlagos. The JSelmants Art Grand Prix of Brazil goes to Silva. It is Jeff Groff who will take the silver, his best career finish in GoSquadra Formula Super Series, and Kevin Bonomi back on the podium. Back to the battle for the top AM position. Cody Claiborne has it, and he is still maintaining a half a second advantage over Kyle Allen. A couple turns left to go, and it'll be 3 in a row for Claiborne. Claiborne gets the top AM here at Interlagos. But how about Felipe Silva? And how about this leaderboard? Absolutely ravaged. 11 drivers finish this one out of the 26 that started. I know it's going to be a hot exit for you, Jeff. We appreciate you stepping in the booth as always. Do you have any final thoughts to close out this very interesting feature race?
I don't know that I truly could have any thoughts. The on-track product was amazing as usual. I am sad with how the Spencer Costello race ended, but that was phenomenal while it was occurring. Yeah, we'll see what we, as the series, choose to do on this one. Yeah, it's going to be something fun. Interlagos has always put on a very good race. And yeah, I hope we can have a good end of the season, however that fully comes about.
We'll certainly be looking forward to getting to Suzuka next week and shaking off some of the bad juju here from this evening. But you're right, there was a lot of good things that happened here this evening, not the least of which is Felipe Silva taking a maiden victory in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. We'll hope to talk to him, Jeff Groff, and Kevin Bonomi here momentarily. Those are your podium finishers here this evening. Byron Daly in 4th, Kostik Stawowia in 5th. Cody Claiborne, we'll talk to him here in just a moment as your 40 Racewear top AM. In the 6th position, Kyle Allen in 7th, Christian Jasper in 8th, Brian Labarge in 9th, Nick Goyette in 10th, and Kyle Mundell, the final finisher of the evening. It is DNFs from 12th on down. Michael Costello, Thiago Spencer, Ethan Stanley, Matt Schlosser, the top 15, Griffin Yellen in 16th, 17th for Nate Siefker, Zach Flaum in 18th, it is Schwadi Gregorio in 19th, Sam McDougall 20th, Sarah Guerra in 21st, 22nd for Tristan Moss, Jeremy Carter, Peter Donchak, Titus Sherlock, and Tanner DeFavis, a 26 that took the green flag here in tonight's feature. Oh boy, where do we even start with this one? I guess we'll start with your 40 Racewear top AM of the night. Once again, he's the top AM points leader as well, and he'll finish in P6 here. This evening, it is Cody Claiborne back in booth 200. Welcome, partner. Very fun race there at the end between you and Kyle Allen.
Yeah, no, he had pace all day, and I definitely did not have pace all day and found it at the end and didn't know if I could keep him behind me there at the end.
Certainly, the sprint race did not go your way. You were right in the thick of it there. How did you survive that opening lap and all the chaos with the wet tracks and the dry tires and everything that was going on there?
Honestly, I have no real clue. Lifting for yellows was important. That actually helped quite a bit. But yeah, we honestly had no idea if dry tires or wet tires were going to be the right call at the start. I'm glad I went with wet.
With an eye forward to next week, I mean, you were already in a pretty secure position coming into this evening. This performance is certainly going to help with a great rebound in tonight's feature. And a drop week somewhere in the mix there as well. I mean, how secure does this amateur championship feel headed into Suzuka next week?
I mean, honestly, I don't want to, not really is what I'm going to say. Like, anything can happen. I started off the season rough, and hopefully I don't end it rough.
I think this feature race is proof of anything can happen. That is for sure. Way to survive and endure. Great battling. Congrats on another top AM honor here this evening. And let's get some shout-outs in before we let you go.
Yeah, thanks to the admins, you in the broadcasting booth, my teammate Dakota, and honestly all the other AM racers.
Realize I had my microphone muted there. Sorry about that. Thanks for the time, as always, here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you again one more time next week.
Thank you very much.
He's back at the podium here this evening. It is Kevin Bonomi who will take home the bronze medal. Welcome back to the booth, partner, and congrats on picking up a podium.
Thank you. What a race, honestly. Holy shit.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, starting back from, I think, the 12th position. I mean, you saw a lot of the, quite literally, the comers and goers there. That was a hectic first couple of laps. How did you make your way through all that?
Well, I voluntarily started in the pits.
Okay, that's good. That's good thinking.
Like, I didn't want to really deal with that, especially with the rain and all. I still had to deal with it because of how the pit exit is here. But I was just coasting until I had some free air. And then from there, it's just cruising, really.
I mean, we were looking after pretty much everybody had made their pit stops. It was pretty clear that this track was ramping up. I mean, the top three drivers at the time were all turning in fast laps, but every now and again you would sneak in the purple lap there. Did you find a nice window to operate in there in the mid-pack to turn in such great lap times, or were you getting some drafts? I mean, what was the middle portion of your race like turning such quick laps?
Confidence. I had a decent amount of practice, especially in this like intermediate condition. And I think my pit window was kind of perfect. It allowed me to get some warm temp into the tires, allowing me to kind of just push away the puddles that were still on the track and still have some grip. But it felt pretty good.
And able to, once you found yourself in a podium position there late with everything that happened in the final couple of laps, having to get your elbows out a little bit and fend off Byron Daly there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a race engineer tonight, so I had no idea if he pitted before me because from his pace, it looked like he had fresher tires. Maybe he was on the battery a little bit. I was sweating. I was like, holy shit, I got to push.
A push you certainly did here this evening. Welcome back to the podium, partner. Congrats on a fantastic result here this evening. And let's get some shout-outs in once again before we let you go.
I want to shout out my teammate that wasn't able to make it, Hunter, my family, my brothers that are watching, and PBR Racing.
Appreciate the time here tonight, partner. Hopefully we could do it again next week, but great to talk to you. Congrats on the podium.
Thank you.
Bring in Jeff Groff now, who will bring home the runner-up finish here this evening at Interlagos. Welcome back. I'm pretty sure we've had you up here in the booth before. May have been a while, but you're on the podium here in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series.
I'm pretty sure this is my first time, so
I don't
know what to do with my hands here. Yeah, this is definitely my first time in this series at least. I've been doing this for 7, 8, 9 seasons. I don't know, but it's good to finally get one.
I mean, you've been close so many times. One that I always harken back to And I mean, you're always around the top 5 as well in this league. But the one I always think of is the Auto Club Roval. I mean, you're really getting your elbows out there. But I mean, to overcome everything truly that this race had to offer tonight, which was everything. I mean, how good does it feel to get up on the podium here this evening?
It feels amazing. I didn't know what to do with the wet and the wet to dry transition. I've never practiced that, so it was just I didn't know if the wet tires were fading off or if it was still wet. It all kind of feels the same. But then you start seeing other people passing you, so you just decide, okay, now's the time. So I just made the call and it worked out, but luckily to everybody else's demise. So.
I think even backing up a little bit before that as well. I mean, you started towards the front of this field, so you didn't catch the brunt of it. But I mean, it was an absolutely wild start there, and there was still plenty going on up at the front as well.
Yeah. What was it behind? Was it turn 1, turn 2, or
maybe before as well?
off the line? Okay.
Yeah. But
Nice.
I mean, talk about surviving. I mean, early going, especially with all the uncertainty of the transition and how wet it was, and trying to stay off the curbs and stay off of everybody around you, as they were all just. It almost looked like Talladega in some corners there.
Yeah, thanks. It was just really drive to survive for me until I could really feel that I got the grip again, and then it was go 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 time. But yeah, it was definitely sketchy for a while, but luckily I wasn't racing side by side with people on the first few laps, so it kind of gave me a little bit of a breather, and then I kind of just gained confidence lap after lap. So that's all I could really ask for this week.
And I got to thank you as well. We've got you up here in the booth. I don't know if it's on the car this year or not, but for the first couple of seasons, you're running the retro Turn 200 logo on the car. Always got a big kick out of that. Really appreciate that. It's great to have you back up here in the booth here this evening. Great to get to talk to you, and let's let you get some shout outs in. You got the floor.
Okay, well, my wife and kids first and foremost. My teammate Christian Jasper, who's week in week out trying to push each other to the max. Jeff Destino Motorsports and GoSquadra. Shout out to them, and shout out to the FSS. They put on a great league. I love racing this every season, so it's been a lot of fun, and to you guys.
Appreciate it, partner. Go celebrate this one, and hopefully let's go back to back for next week. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
All righty, partner. Looking forward to it. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks.
And now we'll bring in a first-time race winner. Felipe Silva is here in booth 200 after winning the race here this evening at Interlagos. Welcome in. Congratulations on the victory.
Woohoo! P1. Let me start. Thanking my partner, Mariana. Un beso. La carrera fue muy buena y gracias por todo el soporte. Muchas gracias. Yeah, it's unbelievable. The race was super hard. I had such a bad luck in the first race that on the half of a lap to go, I lost the podium there because my connection is terrible. And sim racing, you even need to be on top of the network provider and all of that. So I'm switching that for the next race. But yeah, this race was really tough. I started from the back, and then I don't know, I was well prepared to do the start, but I did not start that well. I made the wrong decision, and I saw Thiago going through the left and passing everyone. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow him till the end of this race. I tried. He's too fast for me, but eventually the guy who was leading, Michael Costello, was too aggressive, defending all the time, doing crazy lunges. Eventually, they took each other out, and then I was there to pick up the pieces. It's a little unfortunate, that level of aggressiveness, and if somebody's taking Thiago out of this race, it's for sure it's not Thiago's fault. So yeah, I feel really disappointed. I'd like to dedicate this victory to him because he's the one who was faster today and deserved the win. But it is what it is. Sometimes, like in sim racing, this kind of thing happens.
And certainly definitely those things do happen. Unfortunately, it happened to Tiago here this evening twice. But certainly for you, you have to be fast enough to capitalize on it. I mean, you were, so far ahead of the drivers that were there behind you. You obviously had fantastic pace, especially in the middle part of that race. Once it became clear that this track was drying out, you were turning in some very fast laps there.
Yeah, I was kind of prepared to do a dry race, not a wet race, and then when I realized that there will be a lightly wet race, then it was like, okay, so kind of trying to guess what's gonna happen, and then eventually decided to start with the wets and then see what's gonna happen. But at some point you need to be aggressive, and I noticed that everybody was kind of afraid of the grip, but it wasn't that wet, so I was like, yeah, we can push more. And I was seeing Thiago doing like amazing moves, and I was like, let me repeat that and see if I can be successful. Yeah, and it was hard. But then when he dried and switched the tires, then it was more like how I was expecting the track to be. I was managing the temperature of the back tires and trying to keep them on track so I wouldn't spin or anything like that, like many people did. So it was good, man. I'm happy. I hope this is worth it, honestly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm showing you racing under the Brazilian flag as well. Here at Interlagos, this win has to mean just that much more, being your first year in the Formula Super Series.
Bum, 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 bum. This is the song that Ayrton Senna used to be played every time Senna won the race. So that was my time to win here in Interlagos. Maybe my first time in sim racing. So I'm so happy, man. I have no idea. We put many hours every week to be better, to try to win. It's so hard. Everybody here, like professional racing drivers or like aliens, and you need to make everything right to try to be there and fight for something. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to my 4th place, and then was able to capitalize on the crash from Thiago, and I was in 3rd, and unfortunately I disconnected. And the 2nd race, I was lucky, right? But anyway, I was trying to push as much as I could and pass the people that I could pass. So I'll take it.
Maybe a bit of luck, but certainly a lot of speed. I know you thanked some folks at the top of your interview, but is there anybody else that you want to thank before we let you go? You've got the floor. The time is all yours.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank my brother to be there and supporting. Thiago deserved the win today, and he's the faster here for sure. And thanks to Mari, my partner. She's super supportive, and today I was so disappointed with the disconnection, and then she was like, no, it's okay, you go there and do your best on the 2nd race, and I won. Awesome. I'm super happy.
Plus 23 from the back of the grid. Felipe Silva, first-time winner in the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. Congratulations. Go celebrate, and we'll hope to talk to you again next week at the closing of the season.
Thank you. We'll be there. Take care.
What a night here tonight. Jeff Mathis has already stepped out doing some admin stuff. And that admin team is really going to have a busy couple of days. A lot to sort out before we head to Suzuka next week after a couple of skirmishes there and potentially a missed stewarding call as well. So a lot to be decided before we go championship racing next week. Will it be Thiago Spencer, Joao de Gregorio, Titus Sherlock, or some other outlier as we head into Suzuka next week for the endurance race, scheduled as of now to be 60 minutes. 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time for the GoSquadra from the Super Series. As always, won the final time here on that Turn 200. We got more racing action for you tomorrow night. It is a Team 200 POV stream. You don't get many of those. We will be live from Daytona International Speedway against the best of the Venom Truck Series. It'll be myself and Matt Williamson and a couple of our buddies trying to beat the best on Tuesday nights. Catch us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. We'll be back racing with the ASRL Sports Car Championship on Wednesday night as well. From WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca. Catch us there at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Thursday night, it is the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series at the usual new time of 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. They'll be live from the Tricky Triangle this Thursday at Pocono Raceway. So that is all we got for you for the rest of the week as our schedule starts to pick up once again. Thanks to Nate Siefker and Ultman Badmus hanging out with us here in the chat this evening, and to anybody else that was hanging out with us here tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks to Mullet Music Productions for the new suite of music here for Turn 200. Appreciates JSelmants Motorsports Art for coming on board to sponsor the JSelmants Art Grand Prix of Brazil here this evening. Check out Joey Selmans' art on Instagram at JSelmants Art. Appreciate Joey's continued support of the GoSquadra Formula Super Series. And thank you, as always, to 4D Racewear for sponsoring the AM division of the championship, and to GoSquadra.com, the title sponsor of the Formula Super Series here in Seasons 2 and 3. Thank you to the admin team, and thank you to the drivers for putting on the show here this evening as well. That's all we got for you here tonight. Until we meet again, from Interlagos, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Felipe Silva, first-time winner at the Home Grand Prix. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.